Let's now consider targeting into a frame. As you see, the documentation says that we can target another named frame by setting ID of that target frame. There are two ways of doing that. First, we can use this attribute directly in the definition of the turbo frame and set the ID of the target frame as a frame, or we can use turbo frame with the ID of the target frame inside of the link to or forms. Let us say it in our code base. As we said, in order to implement turbo frame, you need three things. First, the trigger. Second, the code that is going to be replaced. And the third, code that is going to replace the other code. Let us first add the placeholder. Let me do it in here. In here, let us add turbo frame tag. With ID of details panel. And now let us add the code that is going to replace that placeholder. As you remember, we just recently removed the turbo frame tag from this file. Let's add it back, but in a different way. Turbo frame tag, and instead of using article, let us set the ID of that named frame and let's add indentation. And now here we have two ways of adding trigger. First way of doing it is inside of the link, and the next one is changing the target to that ID. Let us first try it in here. Now let's go to the application, start, and click show button. As you see, we now show details of the article, not by taking to a separate page, but in our target frame. As you see here, we still have this top, but this definition is overriding, and instead of taking it to a separate page, when we click this, it targets this, which should be rendered in this placeholder, by replacing that placeholder with this code. So if we click on other show links, as you see, content gets updated. Another way of achieving the same is not adding it in here. Let me copy this ID and let me undo these changes and just come here and replace this. And if we go back here, refresh and click show, we see that it still works with this and not adding in here. That covers our discussion of targeting into or out of a frame. Now let us consider another topic that's covered here. As you see, the documentation says that as soon as the page loads and it reaches the line where it contains this attribute with the source,